Before you decide this message isn't about you, let me ask you something. What if the night before a truly significant meeting, the kind that quietly reorganizes the entire direction of your life, rarely feels like an ordinary night at all, even when nothing on the surface appears out of the ordinary? What if there is a specific, recognizable pattern that so many people describe experiencing the night before meeting someone who would go on to become deeply significant to them, a pattern worth understanding, not as mystical prediction, but as a genuine psychological and physiological phenomenon that deserves real attention? Most people only recognize the significance of that particular night in hindsight, looking back months or years later and suddenly remembering, almost with a chill, that something about it had felt different at the time, even though they couldn't have named exactly what or why in the moment itself. But there is a recurring pattern across countless personal accounts of meeting a significant partner, one consistent enough to be worth taking seriously, whether you're looking back at your own history or wondering what to notice moving forward. This pattern typically involves restlessness, unusually vivid dreams, an inexplicable shift in mood or energy, and often, a subtle but persistent sense that something is about to change, even without any concrete evidence to justify that feeling. This is not evidence of literal precognition in the way popular culture often imagines it. It is something more grounded and, in many ways, more fascinating, evidence of how deeply attuned the human nervous system and subconscious mind can become to subtle shifts, both internal and environmental, that precede significant life events. Right now, if you've recently experienced a night like this, unusual restlessness, vivid or symbolic dreams, a mood shift you couldn't quite explain, it's worth paying genuine attention to what may be unfolding, without assuming this guarantees a specific dramatic outcome, but also without dismissing it entirely as meaningless. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear may completely change the way you understand these unusual, hard-to-explain nights, and what they may genuinely indicate about significant connection on the horizon. Have you experienced a night recently that felt subtly different from your usual pattern? Restlessness without clear cause, dreams that lingered with unusual vividness the next morning, or simply a feeling that something significant was approaching? There is a well-documented psychological and physiological basis for why significant life transitions, including meeting a person who will become deeply important, often produce a distinct experience the night before, even when the person has no conscious awareness that anything significant is about to occur. The subconscious mind processes an enormous amount of information that never reaches conscious awareness, subtle patterns, environmental cues, and internal readiness that accumulate gradually before finally producing effects a person can consciously notice. Many researchers who study intuition and decision-making have found that people often demonstrate measurable physiological responses to significant upcoming events before they have any conscious knowledge that those events are approaching, suggesting that the body and subconscious mind frequently register meaningful patterns well before conscious awareness catches up. In the specific context of meeting a significant partner, this phenomenon may reflect accumulated readiness reaching a point of culmination, weeks or months of inner work, healing, or personal growth finally reaching a threshold where the nervous system registers a kind of readiness or anticipation, even without conscious knowledge of the specific external event that readiness is about to produce. This can manifest as restlessness, difficulty settling into ordinary sleep patterns, or a general sense of heightened alertness that feels disproportionate to anything consciously identifiable as its cause. Vivid or unusual dreams the night before significant events are also a well-documented phenomenon, one connected to how the brain processes emotional and psychologically significant material during sleep, particularly during REM sleep, when the subconscious mind engages in especially active processing and integration of significant emotional content. Many people report dreams the night before meeting a significant partner that involve themes of transition, doorways, journeys, or encounters with unfamiliar but significant figures, symbolic content that may reflect the subconscious mind actively processing an approaching, significant shift, even without conscious awareness of exactly what that shift will specifically involve. Understanding this phenomenon through a grounded, psychologically informed lens does not diminish its significance. It offers a more substantive, credible explanation for why so many people report similar experiences preceding significant romantic encounters, one rooted in genuine understanding of how the subconscious mind and nervous system actually function, rather than requiring purely mystical explanation to feel meaningful. Drawing from the recurring themes in countless personal accounts of the night before meeting a significant partner, several specific elements appear with notable consistency, worth understanding both for their psychological grounding and their practical significance. Restlessness or difficulty falling into ordinary sleep is one of the most commonly reported elements, a sense of unusual wakefulness or inability to settle, even without any identifiable stressor or clear reason for the disruption. This is often described not as anxious insomnia, but as a kind of alert, expectant wakefulness, different in quality from ordinary sleeplessness related to stress or worry. Unusually vivid or memorable dreams, ones that remain clearly remembered the following morning in a way that feels distinct from ordinary, quickly forgotten dream content, are another frequently reported element. These dreams often, though not always, involve symbolic themes related to transition, meeting, or significant encounter, content that many people later connect, in hindsight, to the significant meeting that followed. A subtle but persistent shift in mood or energy, sometimes described as unexplained excitement, sometimes as unexplained nervousness, and sometimes simply as a diffuse sense that something significant is approaching, represents another commonly described element. This mood shift often occurs without any conscious, identifiable trigger, appearing to arise from somewhere beneath ordinary conscious awareness. Some people also report unusually strong intuitive impulses the day before or the day of a significant meeting, a sudden urge to attend a particular event, visit a particular location, or make an unplanned change to their usual routine, impulses that, followed, sometimes directly lead to the significant meeting itself. This pattern, when it occurs, offers a particularly interesting intersection between internal, subconscious readiness and actual external behavior that directly influences the circumstances of connection. It's worth approaching this pattern with grounded, honest reflection rather than assuming every restless night or vivid dream necessarily precedes a significant romantic encounter. Restless nights and vivid dreams are common human experiences that occur for countless reasons unrelated to romantic destiny. The pattern described here becomes meaningful specifically in hindsight, when it can be connected to an actual, subsequent significant meeting, or, prospectively, as one part of a broader constellation of signs worth noticing with balanced, thoughtful attention rather than treated as a definitive, standalone prediction. It's important to address directly the risk of overinterpreting ordinary restless nights or dreams as definitive evidence of an imminent, significant romantic meeting, since this kind of overinterpretation, while understandable, can lead to disappointment or unnecessary anxiety if approached without appropriate balance and realistic expectation. Human memory is selectively reinforcing, meaning that people tend to remember and emphasize the restless nights that did precede significant events, while quickly forgetting the countless restless nights that preceded entirely ordinary days. This selective memory pattern, well documented in psychological research on pattern recognition and confirmation bias, means that the felt sense of this phenomenon being a reliable predictor is often considerably stronger than what more careful, balanced observation would actually support. This does not mean the underlying psychological phenomenon described in this message isn't real or worth attention. It means the honest, useful approach involves noticing these patterns with genuine interest and openness, without treating any single restless night or vivid dream as a guaranteed, definitive sign that a significant meeting is imminent. The pattern is more accurately understood as one meaningful data point among several, rather than a standalone, reliable predictor capable of definitively forecasting a specific event. A genuinely useful approach involves holding this pattern with what might be called relaxed attention, genuine curiosity, and openness to its potential significance, without anxious, rigid expectation that specifically requires it to predict an exact, imminent outcome. This balanced approach allows you to remain genuinely open to and appreciative of these experiences when they occur, without setting yourself up for unnecessary disappointment through overly literal or rigid interpretation. Understanding what tends to precede this pattern of restless nights and vivid dreams offers additional, useful context for recognizing genuine significance versus ordinary, unrelated sleep disruption. Periods of significant personal growth or healing often precede this kind of heightened readiness, suggesting that the restlessness and vivid dreaming reflect accumulated internal shift finally reaching a point of culmination, rather than occurring randomly, disconnected from any broader pattern of personal development. If you've recently completed meaningful therapeutic work, released a significant limiting belief, or moved through substantial healing around past relationship patterns, this recent internal work may indeed be contributing to genuine, meaningful heightened readiness, distinct from ordinary, unrelated sleep disruption. A recent shift in daily routine, environment, or social circle can also precede this kind of heightened readiness, since significant romantic connection often occurs during periods of genuine life transition, when circumstances naturally increase the likelihood of meeting new, significant people. If you've recently changed jobs, moved locations, or begun engaging in new social activities, this practical shift in circumstance may combine with genuine internal readiness to create exactly the kind of conditions this pattern tends to describe. An increased overall sense of internal peace, security, and openness, distinct from anxious searching or desperate hope for connection, often precedes this kind of genuine readiness as well. Many people report that periods immediately preceding significant romantic connection were characterized less by active, anxious searching, and more by a settled, contented internal state, suggesting that genuine readiness for significant connection often develops most fully once anxious searching has given way to authentic internal peace and self-sufficiency. If you're currently experiencing several of these broader patterns, recent meaningful personal growth, practical life transition, and increased internal peace and openness, alongside the more specific signs of restless nights or vivid dreams described earlier, this combination offers more substantive, grounded evidence of genuine heightened readiness than any single sign considered in isolation. If you've experienced a night that felt genuinely different, restless, vivid, energetically distinct from your ordinary pattern, there are specific, grounded ways to respond that honor the potential significance of this experience without falling into either dismissive skepticism or anxious overinterpretation. Remaining genuinely present and open in your daily life during the period following this kind of experience, rather than anxiously searching for a specific expected meeting, allows genuine connection to unfold naturally, without the pressure and anxiety that often accompanies overly rigid expectation about exactly when or how a significant meeting must occur. Significant connections often arise through ordinary, everyday circumstances when a person is genuinely present and engaged with their life, rather than through anxious searching disconnected from authentic presence. Continuing to invest in your own ongoing growth and well-being, regardless of whether this specific pattern precedes an imminent significant meeting, ensures that your overall well-being and life satisfaction do not become contingent on a single, specific interpretation of one restless night or vivid dream. This balanced approach protects you from unnecessary disappointment, while still allowing genuine appreciation for whatever meaningful significance this experience may ultimately hold. Journaling about the specific content of any vivid dreams or the particular quality of restlessness you experience can provide valuable, grounded reflection, both for processing the experience itself and for potentially recognizing, in hindsight, whether this particular night did indeed precede a significant meeting, information that can offer meaningful, personal insight into your own patterns over time, even if that insight only becomes fully clear well after the fact. It's worth being genuinely honest about something important. Cultivating this kind of attentive, balanced awareness toward your own internal experience, restlessness, dreams, subtle shifts in mood or energy, holds genuine value independent of whether any specific instance precedes a significant romantic meeting. Developing this kind of attunement to your own internal signals represents a genuinely valuable form of self-awareness, one that benefits far more than simply romantic anticipation. People who cultivate genuine attentiveness to their own internal experience tend to develop improved intuition more broadly, better decision-making capacity, and a deeper overall relationship with their own inner world, benefits that remain significant and valuable regardless of the specific romantic outcome any single restless night or vivid dream ultimately does or doesn't precede. This broader perspective matters because it protects the genuine value of this practice from being entirely contingent on it accurately predicting a specific romantic event. Even if a particular restless night doesn't precede an immediately identifiable significant meeting, the practice of paying genuine, balanced attention to your own internal experience remains valuable, contributing to your overall self-awareness and psychological well-being regardless of its specific predictive accuracy in any individual instance. If you've experienced a night recently that felt genuinely different, restless, filled with vivid or symbolic dreams, accompanied by an unexplained shift in mood or energy, understand that this experience may indeed reflect a genuine, psychologically grounded pattern worth taking seriously, one connected to real, accumulated internal readiness reaching a meaningful point of culmination. This does not guarantee a specific, dramatic meeting will occur within any particular time frame, and holding this pattern with balanced, relaxed attention, rather than rigid, anxious expectation, allows you to remain genuinely open to its potential significance without setting yourself up for unnecessary disappointment. Whatever this particular night ultimately turns out to mean, the deeper practice of paying genuine attention to your own internal experience remains valuable, meaningful work in its own right. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message resonated with an experience you've recently had, I hope it offered a grounded, thoughtful way of understanding what you noticed, without either dismissing its significance or promising a specific, guaranteed outcome it cannot honestly guarantee. This has been the Archetype Awakening. I hope this video helped you understand the genuine psychological basis for these unusual, hard-to-explain nights, and reminded you that whatever they ultimately turn out to mean, your own growing self-awareness remains valuable and worth cultivating, regardless of any single night's specific outcome. Wishing you continued attentiveness to your own inner world, balanced openness to whatever meaningful connection is unfolding in your life, and the genuine peace of trusting your own journey, one restless, meaningful night at a time. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.